For most of us who live and work here in affluent Westchester County, life is a pleasant blur. We don't realize that many of our neighbors are living at or below the poverty level, or that thousands, including children, are homeless, or that 1 in 5 families needs food assistance.
I'm Paul Anderson Winchell, Executive Director of Lifting Up Westchester. For nearly 4 decades, we've been restoring hope to men, women, and children, providing them with food, shelter, and support, and lifting them to greater self-sufficiency with dignity and respect. Every day, our staff and volunteers work with vulnerable individuals, helping them to create their own unique path to a more fulfilling, healthy, and independent life. Lifting Up Westchester is a nonprofit social service agency that touches the lives of 4,000 individuals every year, providing 140,000 meals to the hungry and 28,000 nights of shelter to the homeless. No one is ever turned away. Our comprehensive programs include shelter, feeding, and housing services, programs for children and youth, and services for the elderly and disabled. Through our Open Arms Men's Shelter, Samaritan House Women's Shelter, and Grace's Kitchen, we reach out to men and women struggling to overcome homelessness, hunger, substance abuse, mental illness, and domestic violence. Our shelters and soup kitchen provide much more than a bed, shower, and meal. Our guests receive support and encouragement to engage in substance abuse and mental health recovery programs or employment services that can help them find their path to a better life. For many, that path includes our supportive housing program, which provides budgeting assistance, rental subsidies, and ongoing case management support for individuals and families, many living with HIV/AIDS, mental illness, or substance abuse. Through our Brighter Futures summer camp, after-school mentoring program, and scholarship fund, at-risk children and youth find the motivation and support they need to stay in school, improve their grades, and to start seeing college as part of their future. The children we serve grow up with us, spending their summers in the stimulating and recreational environment of our day camp, first as campers, then as counselors in training, and later giving back as camp counselors. During the school year, they stay connected with our caring adult staff through our Brighter Futures mentoring program. Our hope is that the tutoring and college prep programs they participate in and the financial aid they receive through our college scholarships will help them become the first in their families to go to college and the last to live in poverty. Through Neighbors Home Care Services, our licensed home health care agency, our elderly and disabled clients receive compassionate, individualized care to help them remain where they belong in the comfort of their own home for as long as possible, secure in the knowledge that our team of professional caregivers are there to give them a helping hand. Developmentally disabled adults and children from minority or economically disadvantaged families enjoy weekly recreational activities through our Rainbow Outreach program. We'd like you to meet a few of the individuals whose lives we've touched, and in turn, who've touched us in profound ways.
Raised from the age of 4 months until her early teens by her great-grandparents, Ishandra McClendon's life took a challenging turn when they died. Ishandra's story, in her own words.
Was coming back to live with my mother, whom I never lived with. She was on drugs, stricken by poverty, lots of issues that I hadn't experienced before. And it was pretty much very difficult for me. In essence, I was compelled to grow up. She just was not prepared to care for me as a child. She would actually take money from me to support her habit. I had to leave that situation because I knew that it was just not going to be conducive to academics, just going to school, as I said, just day to day. That's how I met up with Eileen as a guidance counselor, social worker, etc. at Roosevelt High School for the support that I needed. So not only was Eileen a guidance counselor, a social worker, she was more like family. This reaffirmed that I'd be able to get an education, go on to John Jay College where I graduated, and ultimately go to law school. Without the resources and the day-to-day support, it just wasn't going to happen. I ultimately chose John Jay because it was cheaper, number one. Number two, it's a commuter school. And number three, I had to go to a school where I was able to work during the day and go to school at night. The mentoring program provided scholarships for me throughout undergrad as well as graduate studies, law school. It hasn't been short of difficult and challenging. Every day I still work full-time. I go to school full-time at night. A lot to balance in general, but I wouldn't trade it. I'm the product of a village. And there have just been so many important people, Eileen, the mentoring program, teachers.
Former Lifting Up Westchester client Mike Severino, now a supervisor at Open Arms, in his own words.
I was really struggling. I had really hit bottom with drugs and alcohol and felt that I was going to die. So when I went to Open Arms, they just made me feel comfortable right away. And they let me get involved in the process, talking to me about, what did I want? What do I think could help me?
Open Arms placed Mike in a substance abuse program where he got the individualized attention he needed.
They create an atmosphere of people wanting to come back and say, hey, look, I'm doing well, life is good, thank you so much. They inspire you to do that, to give back. I'm so blessed, so fortunate, and so thankful to be a part of Open Arms. That was the beginning of my life in giving back. I know what they're going through, whether it has to do with substance abuse, whether it has to do with mental health, or whether it has to do with the economy. I respect them, I care for them, because I am them, and they are me.
When we see hunger, homelessness, and despair in our midst, we must all find the courage to act. Here at Lifting Up Westchester, we are witnesses to that courage every day, and our staff's respect for the dignity and full potential of each individual. In the men, women, and children we serve as they forge their own path to a more fulfilling, healthy, and independent life, and in the generosity and compassion of our donors and volunteers. Please join us. We can't do it without you. Together we can restore hope to our neighbors in need, one person at a time.
Lifting Up Westchester, where hope takes flight, one person at a time. Find out more about Lifting Up Westchester's programs and how you can participate at liftingupwestchester.org.